Hold on, no.
Oh my God. I got to start a new meeting. Welcome back to another episode of Vendetta Sports Media. No, welcome back to another episode of ChicksTape Pod, a basketball podcast from Vendetta Sports Media. Oh my God, this has been a train wreck. First of all, we've been trying to get this shit going 30 minutes between my fucking working and then Garrett's Zoom, like his camera wasn't working, so it's been a struggle. And I can't even get the intro right. Like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to go. We're going to keep going. ChicksTape Podcast, basketball podcast for Vendetta Sports Media. Holy shit. Okay, we got it. Garrett, my co-host, is here. Garrett.
Here.
Oh, my God. Okay. This is going to be a train wreck. I can already see it.
Dude, we're off to a great start. What are you talking about? I literally can't think of a better start to a podcast than what we've had for the past 90 seconds.
A more fitting start, okay? This is definitely on brand for us. So,
Facts.
Anyway, tomorrow is officially the start of the NBA playoffs. I don't count the play-in, but because it was the play-in. It's not the playoffs. Tomorrow's the playoffs. And you know what? That's when it's going to start getting interested. I'm glad we made it. Lord, I'm glad we made it. Because you know what? We're going to get to the playoffs, and then football is going to be right in the middle of the playoffs, and this is the best time for me. Shut up. Okay, this is what happened with basketball. You got to manifest that shit. You got to manifest like, hey, there's going to be a football season.
Fair enough. So, hey, you got baseball.
Anyway, I can't stand watching baseball. I'll go to a game, but I can't stand it. Anyway, so this is our official NBA playoffs podcast, at least, you know, before it all starts. I think every other episode we're going to kind of go in and maybe change our picks depending on who wins out of the first round, second round, all that jazz. So let's just get into it. I mean, I don't even know how. We're just gonna fucking go full send that shit. So let's start with the East because the East is fucking boring. Let's just start with the easiest matchup, 1-8, Garrett. We got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Orlando Magic. Is there any doubt that this is going to go to 4 games?
Nope.
Next. It's a sweep, right? It's
sweep.
It's sweep. Now,
I don't think any game is closer than 9 points.
Easily. And not garbage time either. Now, I'm talking about, like, it's just 9. It was like 20 points.
Like, Giannis averages like 28 minutes a game because he doesn't play the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a blowout. You know what is interesting, though? When he headbutted Mo Wagner or whatever, I was like, they're not going to suspend him more than 1 game or anything. I wasn't even sure if they're going to suspend him at all. Could you imagine if he missed the entire first round?
Dog, I texted you after I saw that, and I was just like, he needs. Well, here's the thing. I thought he should have been actually suspended because you go up and headbutt somebody.
Yeah.
That's not something you normally do in basketball, but whatever. Doesn't matter. They protected their star and get him ready for the playoffs. It's not a big deal, I guess.
I hate that, actually.
It's what happened.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine if LeBron had butted somebody, though?
Oh, and he only get 1 game? First of all, like
Twitter would be on fire.
And it was like swept under the rug when Giannis only got like 1 game. Like no one was really talking about it, and it's just like that's kind of bullshit. If you're wondering why I don't have my glasses, I actually stepped on my glasses. I just realized that. Yeah. So if you're wondering where my glasses are, I stepped on my glasses, and
Y'all thought he was a goofy looking motherfucker before.
Yeah, bro, you can really see my squint eyes now. I'm fucking white too. Like I don't like. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, it's gonna go to 4 games. I think. If Giannis wasn't playing, I think it's a good 6-game series, though. 6 or 7 game. I think the Bucks barely come out on top, but I think the Magic could push them to 6 or 7. I don't believe in this Bucks team at all, though.
No, not at all. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah, well, we'll get more into that later. Second matchup in the East, the Raptors and the Nets. What are you thinking?
I got Raptors in 5. I think this Nets team, Karis LeVert, Hooper. The future of Brooklyn bright, dude.
Yeah.
Because Karis LeVert is a bona fide stud. I think
he's a bucket man.
I think the Nets will rally around for 1 game, win by 1 in like double overtime or something like that. But it's the Raptors all day.
Yeah, the Raptors have too much depth. I feel like, and it's good. And I was actually surprised the Nets even did this well. Because I thought there was a chance they would even go to the 8th seed. And I was, they've pulled out some surprising wins. And I'm like, man, good on y'all. Because I was not expecting that shit. But, yeah, I think in a playoff series, you got, Coach of the Year, Nick Nurse in there. And he's going to be Coach of the Year. He should be Coach of the Year. You got him in there. And with that depth, I don't think the Nets stand a chance. I think you're right. I think LeVert might go off for like 50 points one game. And then, they win that game. But other than that, I don't see. Now, there's one thing, though. Why is Brooklyn trying to, trade for a third star when LeVert could be that third star? This
True.
is, next year. This is all next year shit. But I'm like –
I mean, to be fair, though, who would you rather have, Bradley Beal or Karis LeVert?
Depends, though. You know me. I'm all about depth. I like depth on my teams. And I've – Spurs fans, Spurs have always had that kind of depth. Maybe not so much in recent years, but that's what really won us, playoff series and everything was bench depth and winning off the bench. So I'm always a little bit favored towards bench. I can see the argument for Bradley Beal, but if I get to have LeVert, which is, obviously not as good as Bradley Beal, but keep a lot of that bench depth to keep all my stars healthy, if I wanted to rest them or whatever, I don't know.
I think the thing, too, is that people aren't taking into consideration is they also have DeAndre Jordan. And he's not necessarily a third star per se, but you'd have to give up somebody like that or give up someone like Karis LeVert to get Bradley Beal in there. Or you'd have to send multiple draft picks and some of your bench guys you have to lose. And like you said, then you have KD and Kyrie and Bradley Beal. Holy shit, that sounds incredible. I'm with you. But who's coming off the bench? Yeah. Nobody's. So if someone gets in foul trouble, someone has an off shooting night, there's nobody there. You don't have backup.
I think they have to include DeAndre Jordan for salary purposes. But if I'm any other team, I'm asking for LeVert, Jared Allen, and whatever salaries to match. I love Jared Allen, man. I was big on Jared Allen, last year because he'll block anybody at the rim. I think he's the best shot blocker one-on-one. One-on-one, I think he's best. Don't give me don't pull up stats and shit and show me
him and Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks. That's the one good thing. Well, I like RJ Barrett too, but Mitchell Robinson is the best player in the Knicks organization right now, and he's mad slept on.
Oh yeah. Well,
him and Jared Allen are two. It's true. That's true. I often forget just how bad the Knicks are.
You go the Knicks. Okay.
Sometimes I forget the Knicks play professional basketball. Sometimes I think they're like a D2 school or something like that.
I'm surprised. This really turned into Knicks slander real quick, but I'm surprised they win any games half the time because coaches are a mess, GM's a mess, the team looks like a mess. That lineup was goofy in their offseason. Whenever they like 5 power forwards, I was like, ugh.
I mean, to be fair, to their credit.
It's the 76ers.
So,
is that going to be a 76ers?
No. To be fair, to give the Knicks credit, they hired Thibodeau for coach, right?
Mm-hmm. I was happy about that.
I think it's a good hire. I think there were some better options out there. I will forever stand Mark Jackson. Forever.
Mark Jackson to the Bulls.
Till he gets a job.
Mark Jackson to the Bulls. I'm rooting for it, man. I love Mark Jackson.
Tibbs is a good hire, and then they're handling their salary cap well because they're going for next season. They signed a bunch of 1-and-1s with a team option or just flat out 2-year deals to free up cap for the next season's free agency class, which is obviously we all know is going to be one of the greatest ever if everything pans out. So, not to say that anyone's going to go to New York, but I don't know. It's a tempting option.
I feel like there's a thing about New York that always keeps it like a viable option,
because it's New York.
It's New York, and who's going to be the one?
You get to play at the Garden 42 games a year or 41 games a year. Absolutely.
Who's going to go and change that Knicks team? I think to turn that Knicks team around.
That's a big thing, dude. Yeah. Honestly,
that's a legacy thing, man.
If KD had not went to the Warriors or went to the Knicks and turned that franchise around, he'd get so much more credit than he does. He has 2 rings, right?
2 rings.
2 rings because he has 2 finals MVPs.
Yeah, 17 and 18.
If he would have won 1 ring with the Knicks before going somewhere else, or if he would have just won 1 ring with the Knicks in 9 years, if he would have upped for 2 more, a contract or 2, one of the greatest ever. His championship means more.
Yeah.
Because he revitalized the Knicks organization. Then they're good for the next 20 years.
You know what? I'll get a Knicks jersey of whoever can change that shit around. Because man, I'm rooting for them.
Kudos to them.
Yeah, bro. the New York Knicks are kind of like the Cleveland Browns. You kind of like root for them to like, hey, can you finally do something? We're like rooting for you to like actually do something. And
I feel like the NBA fans are the little stick figure, and they're holding the stick, poking something on the ground, and says, "Hey, do something," and it's the Knicks on the ground.
exactly. And they're like, all right, we're gonna do something. And then they pull like this goofy ass lineup. I'm like, I remember.
I remember those pictures, and then we'll get back on track after this. I remember those
Yeah.
pictures that we saw. Was it 2 off seasons ago or an off season ago, where it was KD, Kyrie, and Zion
I was
in
just
Knicks
about
jerseys,
to say that. Yes,
and then they ended up with RJ Barrett.
And they're like, yeah, we're gonna change this around. Then Knicks get like the 4th pick, and no, they get the 3rd pick in the draft, and I was like, it's over from there.
Poor
KD,
guys.
Kyrie goes to Brooklyn. It's like, so they went to New York.
Technically, they're still in New York,
They
but
went to New York.
they're just
they
in
were
another
like,
borough.
They saw that. They saw the people, the ownership, and they're like, nah, we're good. We're good, fam.
To be fair, if you're fighting with Charles Oakley and kicking him outside of the Garden, you got bigger problems.
Hell yeah.
Your bigger problem is Charles Oakley.
Yikes. Okay, so yeah, Raptors. I got the Raptors in 5 too. I think I'm gonna go with 5. I think there's a chance LeVert might go off 2 games. No chance.
I think the
series.
Nets maybe take game 1.
Ooh.
Maybe steal game 1 and be like, oh shit, we're here to play. LeVert drops like 45. DeAndre Jordan has 10 and 20, and Jared Allen has 12 points off the bench and like 8 blocks or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a defensive struggle, except for LeVert. I don't know. Game one might tell a lot. If it's a blowout, then the Nets don't stand a chance.
I didn't even know if DeAndre Jordan was in the bubble. Is he actually in the bubble? I thought he was out the bubble.
Is he in the bubble?
Ooh, I don't know. Hold on. Just talking. I don't think he is, no, he's not in the bubble.
He's not in the bubble?
No, he's not in the bubble.
Goes to show what I know.
Oof. Well, you know what? I wasn't really watching. I was not watching the Nets. I was like, I'm not watching this thing.
Live podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know what the fuck's going on.
I wasn't watching the Nets, so I didn't.
True, that is true. But
no, he wasn't playing. But you know what, Jared Allen, it's just kind of as soon as all those people opted out, I was like, I'm not worried about the Nets. So I think, yeah, Raptors win 5 or 6, easy. It's not even a contest. Let's go Celtics and 76ers, which looks a lot better at first glance. And then you, like, add the context in there, and it's just like, wow, this is kind of shitty. But, what are you
Celtics
thinking?
in 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'd have Celtics. I would have Celtics in 6 if Ben Simmons was playing. I'd still have the Celtics winning.
Yeah, and Embiid's not playing, is he?
He's hurt, but I don't know if he's going to play through it or not.
I don't know. If he was playing, I don't know. But, like, if Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid were playing, I would say it goes probably 6 or 7 for me. I think the Celtics come out on top, though. I just really like the Celtics team, though. I think it's a really good squad.
They just play positionless basketball, which is fun to watch.
It really is. I mean, you just got a whole bunch of talent that kind of know their role in the team, and it's really satisfying to watch. I've always been a big fan of Brad Stevens, though. I think he's one of the best coaches in the NBA, maybe all time. He just kind of needs the hardware for it. But
Brad Stevens has been good since the days he had Gordon Hayward at Butler, before they almost upset Duke in the national title game. That would have cemented his legacy right there. If he could have beat Coach K in a final and then went to Boston, I don't know, man.
He's only
I feel like he'd be getting more
39.
respect somehow. He's young.
I didn't even realize that. Like, I was watching a Celtics game the other night, and it was like, yeah, Brad Stevens, 39-year-old head coach. I was like, okay, now I know where my ceiling. That's what I need to be, is be like 39
yeah,
and
you
go
need
be
to
a coach.
You're just like, yeah, if I'm not a head coach at 39, something's going wrong. I don't know what's going on here.
You have that midlife crisis because you like compare yourself to everyone. And it's like, yeah, I'm not Brad Stevens good though. I'll be better than Jim Boland.
Yikes! That man did not deserve that. You leave him out of this.
But yeah, going into it, the top 6 players for the Celtics, they have a real good thing going. Their chemistry is really good. 76ers, you just don't know who the fuck's playing, what's going to happen. I did like that Brett Brown kind of made a change with Joel Embiid and Al Horford and offsetting their minutes, because playing them at the same time was just a disaster. And you know what? You could tell 3 games after they did that needs to change. And, that could have been Al Horford's pride he was protecting or whatever. I don't care for excuses, but no. this 76ers team, this experiment failed. And you know what? There might be some big changes this offseason for the 76ers.
One of those guys is moving, 100%.
Brett Brown's fired too. I don't think they. I mean, they might give him a pass just because of injuries to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. But I know 76ers fans would hate that.
I do think that I could see Brett Brown getting fired because they're going to lose in the first round, 100%.
Yeah.
I could see him getting a pass for one more year just because this has been the most abnormal year any of us have ever lived in our entire lives.
Bullshit. Alvin Gentry got fired, and you know what? He deserved that shit. He deserved that shit.
That's another story for another time.
He deserved that shit.
That's another story for another time. Alvin Gentry, one of the dumbest motherfuckers walking the planet Earth right now. But that's another conversation for another time.
Oof, man, that shit's.
How do you only play Zion like 60? Oh, whatever, dude. I'm not even getting into it.
No, but seriously though, it's like, every game in this Orlando bubble was a must-win. And no matter how you look, the
NBA handed them a free pass to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Handed them. And then Memphis, who had one of the hardest schedules.
Yep.
They were in the play-in game.
Yep.
And 2 or 3 possessions away from making it into the playoffs.
Yeah, it was a good game. Well, yeah, no, they had to win 2, so they would have to win that one and then win the one.
Oh, that is true.
The next day, but still, I mean, to
they
even
almost
have
took
a chance.
That first one.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It was just dumb. Lonzo Ball played like garbage the entire bubble though. So I mean, I think he's gonna get moved too. I think I don't know.
It's almost as if someone has been saying for a long time that most of these ball players are going to be busts.
He's not a bust. He's just inconsistent as hell. Like, some days I watch Zion, I'm like, man, or not Zion, but Lonzo, and I'm like, man, why can't you play like this all the time? And then you play like this in the bubble, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But whatever.
Change my mind. Go get a third change of scenery. Go somewhere else. Maybe he'll ball out. Then I'll eat my words. I'll have a slice of humble pie, I guess. But nah.
I think he needs to be able to shoot. And you know what?
Smack that dude on the forehead with a bust label. Bust.
Anyway, okay. So we both got Celtics. Probably 5. I'll be edgy and I'll go 6. I don't think
I'll be edgy and I go 6.
I'll be edgy. And Celtics win no matter what, though. It's kind of written in stone. The only kind of interesting matchup I'm actually wanting to watch in the East is the Heat and the Pacers. I think that has almost instant
that's potential,
classic.
yeah, to be
Instant
potential classic. To be probably the best series out of the first round matchups.
Maybe I don't know. There's some in the West that I really do like, but
the contrast in styles from these teams, and then also how they play very similarly. I know that's a juxtaposition for what I just said, but these teams are very different in their personalities. Miami's got big personalities. Indiana doesn't have personality at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they play the same way. Nose to the grindstone, defense, interior shots, gonna protect the paint, right?
Yeah.
Miles Turner versus Bam Adebayo. Juicy matchup. And then of course you have
I wish the Pacers were just at full strength. That would make that
that would make it a lot more interesting.
Oh man, because I like Sabonis, I really do. And then they don't have Jeremy Lamb. Depot is just now coming back. Brogdon's still kind of dealing with whatever the fuck is wrong with his neck. He's been slinging too much neck. I don't know, something like that. It's a curse. but I mean, it's just a really interesting matchup. T.J. Warren was playing out of his mind, but every time he plays Miami. And versus Jimmy
Butler, dude.
Jimmy Butler's in his head, man, rent free. I was like, maybe he'll go off during
Jimmy
one of these
Butler,
games.
oh man.
I like Jimmy Butler, man.
Jimmy Butler, I've liked him since he came out of Marquette. When he went to Chicago, he learned how to be a dog from Joakim Noah and Taj Gibson and Derrick Rose in those old Chicago days.
Yeah,
and Tibbs.
Top 5, one of the funniest NBA players in the NBA. Because, I laugh at everything. I'm like, man, he's like, nah, bro, he's not even in my league. Everything's nonchalant to him. It's funny as hell.
Jimmy Butler is going to be the biggest reason why Miami wins this series.
I think so, too. But I do like Miami's depth though. I think they have good depth, man. I mean,
they're a sneaky team to make a conference final. They're a
because
sneaky team.
we just said we're not that sold on the Bucks. You think there's a chance they upset the Bucks in the second round?
Potentially.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chance because I mean we've talked about it in podcasts before. Is that Giannis doesn't have a second star, and so if Giannis is having an off night, who's going to step up?
Chris Middleton, and don't come in this bitch and be like Chris Middleton. No, we're talking about someone.
I'm talking like stars, bro.
If you think, because Chris Middleton, he doesn't take over games. If he took over games, if I watched him and Giannis is shooting bad, is in foul trouble, which he does get in foul trouble a lot, but it's like he doesn't.
He's got a short temper. Ask Mo Wagner.
It's like he's a bitch.
But the thing is too in Milwaukee is like just like you said. When was the last time that Chris Middleton dropped 40 points?
I don't even think he has.
I don't even know. I don't even know what his career high is.
When's the last time he's dropped 30 points?
Chris Middleton doesn't have that killer instinct to be like, you know what? I need to pick up the slack. Let's go ball.
He's a great player.
He doesn't have that.
Great player, but he just doesn't. He's not good. He's not like
a
Kyrie.
Star.
Yeah, he's not Kyrie. Like if LeBron was having a bad shooting night back in the Cleveland days, Kyrie would pick up the slack.
Kevin Love. Kevin Love, mad slept on. Kevin Love gets so much hate for no reason. I love Kevin Love, man.
I used to love Kevin Love, and now I'm like, it's just like for me right now. Like I liked Kevin Love when back in Minnesota.
Yes, dude. Back in Minnesota, he was a killer.
Did not get enough.
That man, 4-6 times a year is awful.
Did not get enough love, to be fair. Oh, I even did that shit. Aha! Anyway, but yeah, I think I do like this Heat team. This Heat team kind of like underwhelms me at times though when I watch them. And like I feel like they could be doing better with their depth. Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the NBA. So and sometimes I'm just like, let's get it going here. But you know what? They're a young team. I mean, they got Hero, they got Duncan Robinson. Kendrick Nunn's kind of underwhelmed a little bit lately, but those three guys I think they're all rookies or second-year players at the most. So
they're either. I think two of those guys are undrafted, aren't they? Kendrick Nunn is, I think.
He is, I think.
And then Duncan Robinson was a second-round pick or something like that. But nonetheless,
yeah.
Pat Riley's done a hell of a job surrounding Eric Spoelstra with all this talent and just picking these guys out of nowhere.
And Bam's been young, so
Eric Spoelstra's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, easily.
I can't think of a better success story than Eric Spoelstra. Going from a fucking videotape guy and literally working his way up to head coach, and then he won rings. And then everyone thought, LeBron left and Bosh retired.
I thought
like, this team's going to be trash. And Eric Spoelstra's like, hold my beer. Let me show you how good of a coach I am.
Yeah.
And then he's leading team to playoffs still.
You know what? Because I thought the same thing. You know what? When LeBron left, and I was like, Dwayne Wade's Chris Bosh, he's whatever. He was doing whatever. He was dealing with that blood clot or something. I was like, watch this. Y'all going to find out Eric Spoelstra is not that good of a coach. He's just going under LeBron. And then I was like, oh, shit, okay, prove me wrong then. You know what? And he did. So I was like, my bad. Like, you're a good coach.
It's too bad Ty Lue couldn't do that.
I was going to say that, but I was like.
Bro, Ty Lue, you're fucking garbage, homie. God bless.
Dude's overrated.
Ty Lue was worse than that European coach they had in Cleveland for that 1 year, whatever the fuck his name was. And that's hard to do because that dude didn't do nothing.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm going to let you have that because I'm like, I don't even know his name.
Didn't LeBron his first year have, oh God, what is his name? He came from overseas. He was an international coach for like a year.
Nope. No, not ringing a bell. I'm not gonna lie.
You speak, and I'm looking into this.
Okay. What was I speaking about though?
First round matchups. We were talking about Miami.
Miami. Okay. So what's your prediction for this one?
I've got Miami and I'm going back and forth on 6 and 7.
I'm going 7. I think
it could be a 7-game series.
I think TJ Warren's going to let Jimmy Butler get in his head a little bit, but I do think he's going to show – what's his name?
David Blatt.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
David Blatt is sucked, homie.
Well, you were talking about European. I thought it was going to be
He was a European coach.
I thought it was going to be or something like that. You know?
Oh, my God.
That was my imitation of, European name,
David Blatt, fucking
No, he was garbage.
And you bad when you worse than David Blatt, Ty Lue. Don't you go get a head coaching job nowhere and ruin an organization.
Oh, my God. I can't wait.
You stay in L.A.
I can't wait. You know what? And that shows more to how good LeBron was, too. I mean, because I didn't think Ty Lue did anything at all. So
No. LeBron bought in his guy. He could have went out. Here's the thing. If LeBron's first year they bring in Mark Jackson, they win 3 out of 4 rings, even with KD going to the Warriors. 100%. You can't change my mind. Mark Jackson's a hell of a coach. You mean to tell me that LeBron got a chip with Ty Lue as head coach? No. Get out of here. Not a chance. You bring in Mark Jackson, he wins 3 rings. We're having a whole different conversation about the greatest of all time. There still is no conversation, but
3. Well, I don't know. That's a hefty. That's hefty. 3 out of 4 rings is hefty. I don't know. I'll give you 2. I don't know.
Because this is the last thing I'll speak on it. David Blatt didn't know how to manage minutes. So come playoff time, all of his guys were getting hurt even before the regular season. Kevin Love goes down. Kyrie goes down. LeBron willed that team to a late series to the finals with his second best player is Matthew Dellavedova. Right? So, you bring in Mark Jackson to manage minutes better. These guys don't get hurt. Cavs win in 5 that first year.
6.
They win the chip.
I think so.
Regardless.
But that's a big if because you're counting on injuries. And I understand, you're talking about your minutes and stuff, managing minutes. Well, also, didn't Kevin Love get his, arm poked out or he got, out of socket by Kelly Olynyk? I don't like Olynyk. I don't know what it is about him. He's a dirty player. A white guy that's plays dirty as hell.
True.
But,
same with that dude who fucked up Kawhi's ankle.
I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it. I really don't like. I often wonder if Kawhi would still be on the Spurs if that didn't happen. Which I think Uncle Dennis was in his ear and he's going to go to LA anyway. But I don't know.
LeBron got hoed out of that Finals MVP.
Oh, he really 2015.
If nobody agrees on anything else on planet Earth, we should all agree that LeBron in 2015 got hoed out of Finals MVP.
Easily. You know what? It's so rare that the player that didn't win gets a Finals MVP. That should have been one of the instances.
True.
Because he balled his ass off and you gave it to Andre Iguodala. You can make the argument that Steph maybe deserved it, but he got locked up by Delly. I mean, show me stats, show me whatever. If you watch the game, you know what? He was having a tough time against Matthew, Dellavedova.
Stats are a weird thing. This is why Russell Westbrook kind of doo-doo, because Russell Westbrook get a lot of trash time stats. It's just facts. I'm just speaking facts here. I don't get the hate. He's mad at me for whatever reason.
Let me know when he's done.
He kind of got inflated stats. Yes, he hustle a lot. I get it. But Russell Westbrook averaging triple doubles, it didn't really do for me. You can come back. We're done.
Oh, he's still talking.
We're done. We're done. Come back.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought you were still talking. I ain't gonna stand for Russell Westbrook slander. He gets way too much slander. He gets way too much. You know what? I'm not saying he's one of the best, point guards. Well, he is one of the best. I wouldn't say he's the best point guard in the league. I don't even think I put him top 3. But he gets way too much slander. Russell Westbrook, he is a dog. I've always respected Russell Westbrook, at least until KD left. I started respecting him a lot more.
He's definitely the 4th best point guard in the league, 100%.
I think so, yeah. I think it's no question. But I think he gets way too much slander. But that's a different time. I'm going Heat in 7. I think
trying to bring this thing back on the tracks here.
I know, bro. We've been going series, and it's okay, let's talk about the Knicks. And I was like, well, here we are.
That's the first time the Knicks have been talked about in 6 months. They should thank us. They need to cut us a check, homie.
Bro, we got ADHD when it comes to this thing because it just goes into this other fucking dimension of NBA basketball. I'm gonna go Heat in 7. I think TJ Warren's gonna play better. I think he's gonna have to find his form. He's gonna have to face his daddy, Jimmy Butler. Because if he doesn't, I mean, it's gonna be a quick series. You can say what you want about Depot and Brogdon, but it's gonna depend on TJ Warren. Before even the Orlando bubble, he was the Pacers' leading scorer. And you know what? So that tells you a lot that, he puts points on the board. And if Jimmy Butler gets in his head, it's going to be a quick series. But I think TJ Warren faces him, gets his shit under control. I think they go to 7. But it's going to be.
I think he pops off one game. Maybe he has like a good game where he gets like 26, 27 points. I'll give him one solid game against Butler. That's probably it. But
I don't know.
Some people need to start putting some respect on Nate McMillan's name.
Okay, let me get my calculator. So you said 2 games out of 7. Okay, that is a 28% chance. That's 28% games he's gonna go off. I mean, come on, give me at least 3 games he goes off.
Jimmy Butler, all-world defense.
Oh well, I know that, but I don't know.
I'm also not buying all this TJ Warren hype. I'm trying to get on the bandwagon, but there's something holding me back.
He's a bucket.
There's something holding me back. I don't know.
He gets buckets. I don't know if there's much more to his game other than getting a bucket, but he gets buckets. I can tell you that.
I guess we'll find out.
He gets buckets. But he's got to get buckets against Jimmy Butler. It's like, are you a true bucket getter?
True, because if you can get buckets on Jimmy Butler, then you hooping.
Like let's put it this way. Who's gonna get more buckets on Jimmy Butler, LeVert or TJ Warren?
Oh, LeVert.
Yeah, so
easy.
That's a true bucket getter, right?
Caris LeVert, a bad dude.
Booker's gonna get buckets. I mean, like you can throw all these names.
Booker get buckets on anybody right now. Good God,
bro. You know what? I'm glad. What I found out on Twitter is Suns fans are extremely toxic, but you know what? I was kind of rooting for them because I like Devin Booker, but I don't know, man. They were fucking toxic as hell. I was like I'm like, I want to root for you guys, but you're just being so toxic. I don't want to root for you anymore. Like I don't. I love Devin Booker.
Two things need to happen to the Suns organization. One, they need to relocate to Seattle. There is no other organization in the NBA that would benefit more from a move than the Phoenix Suns.
Clippers.
Genuinely, no. Not a chance, because they're a big team now, and they're in a big market. Phoenix, not a big team. Nobody's going to go there. They're not in a big market. Who wants to go play in Arizona? It's fucking hot all the time. No,
sure,
pass. But you go play in Seattle, where the team's back and all the hype is on a Seattle team, and they got new fans coming in. Everyone's want to go play in Seattle. They need to move the team to Seattle, or they need to get Devin Booker out of Phoenix.
I don't know. There's a lot of history there. Because you got to think Charles Barkley and everything. It's just.
And then the Steve Nash and Stoudemire days. I get it. There is a ton of history there, 100%. But I think the writing's on the wall. I was convinced 3 or 4 years ago.
Expansion. I'm rooting for an expansion. I don't necessarily want anyone to relocate. I just want an expansion. I feel like an expansion would do them well.
I was convinced 3 or 4 years ago that Denver was going to move to Seattle. Denver's a downtime. Stan Kroenke likes moving teams. He took the Rams out of St. Louis and took them to L.A. So he has a history of relocating teams. I was convinced if they didn't turn that shit around.
I don't know. Denver's a pretty loyal thing. I mean, maybe not when you guys were playing well, but like when y'all's team is rocking,
bro.
That stadium's rocking, man. That Pepsi Center is one of the hardest places.
I was there. I went to 2 playoff games last year. I went to the playoff game 2 in Denver when Denver lost game 1 and came back and won game 2. I was there when Jamal hit that 3 late in the fourth quarter to beat the buzzer and the place popped, and then the next possession for San Antonio, they caused a turnover and Jamal hit a transition 3 uncontested. I can't remember the last time I've heard an arena that loud. Legitimately.
Yeah,
Like, I could feel the floor shaking. I lost my voice, dude. Like, my vision was going, like, fucking blurry, dude. It's fucking insane. Dude, there's nothing like it.
I've been there, not recently. Ugh, I know, I need to go to Denver. But I know.
That's another thing for another time.
Dead ass. I think it's been 6 years since I've been to Denver. I think. Fuck, has it been? Oh my god, I feel bad. I'm sorry. I need to go to Denver. Anyway.
Listen. The last time I came to Midland, you had no idea, so that one doesn't count.
That's true, but it's still been a while since I've been in Denver. And I need to go to Denver. But last time
everyone's got to visit the can at least once.
When I went to Denver, and this was when like before the all the hype they would. I think 2014. You know what? And they were like fringe. They were like still figuring themselves out. But man, it can get loud. It can really get loud. I remember we went to that game. Well, we went to the Spurs and Nuggets game, but we also went to that Nuggets and Rockets game.
Yep.
And we were 3 seats away from the floor. Best seats I've ever had.
Yes, dude. We fucking upgraded. So we got nosebleeds. And what they used to do in Denver is they used to have like a website you could go to upgrade for discounted seats through the Pepsi Center. And I looked at it, and we were middle court. I think we were row 2. So the Pepsi Center on the sides, it goes AA, BB, 1, 2. We were row 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the edge, and we upgraded for like $35 a seat.
Yeah.
It was fucking insane.
No.
They were such good seats.
We got the seats for free, and then we paid $50 to upgrade each.
True. That is true, because my neighbor Scott got us those tickets. That's right.
Yeah. And
I remember that.
Yeah, and so we got one of the best seats of my life for $50. One of the best times. And you know what? That game went into overtime.
And on a buzzer beater.
On a buzzer beater, and that place was loud, bro.
Yes,
it wasn't even fully filled.
I love the can, man.
Loud, man.
The Pepsi crazy. Center is one of the best places to go watch basketball game, 100%. And Avs games too. This ain't no hockey podcast, but man, I was there. So fun fact, me and my roommate and his girlfriend went to the last hockey game at the Pepsi Center before the world started ending and they shut down the NHL season. The day before.
I went to the last Spurs game. I went to the last Spurs game before the world fucking ended. With against the Mavericks. It was wild, bro. I was hoping, this COVID thing was like getting bigger and bigger, and I was like, oh, just let me go to the game.
Now here we are.
Here we are. Okay, let's go to the Western Conference, and let's start off with probably the most controversial series right now is the Lakers and the Blazers, the 1-8 matchup. Oof, Garrett, what do you got for me?
I have 2 different picks. I have what my brain says, and I have what my heart says.
Okay.
My brain's telling me Lakers in 6. But my heart's telling me Blazers in 7. And I genuinely think Bubble Dame is a different beast. And I don't know, man. Nurkic just balling right now. CJ McCollum with his problems, dude. Still balling out with a broken back. It's insane. It's unbelievable. I genuinely think they got depth. And Gary Trent, bro, listen, I texted you this. I'm speaking into fruition now.
What?
The Blazers need to move CJ McCollum and start Gary Trent next year. 100%.
Now explain why.
Because they're both good defenders, but Gary Trent's a hooper.
Yeah.
And if you could move him for some big depth, move him to Philly. That makes the most sense to me.
Hell, you know what kind of haul you'll get for CJ McCollum, and I was actually worried about CJ McCollum earlier in the year because I enjoyed the backcourt last year, but then this year a lot of problems started arising, and their biggest problem so far, and that's the biggest knock against them right now, is their defense for guards, their guard defense. It's bad.
Because they can defend bigs, but yeah, like you said, if they're going to play Golden State in this 7-game series, it's game over.
Yeah, so
those boys are going to average 65 points.
Damian Lillard is as good of a scorer as he is not the best defender. CJ McCollum, as good of a scorer he is, he's not a good defender at all. Gary Trent's a little bit better defender than CJ McCollum. And you know what? He's kind of rising to the occasion. So, why not trade CJ McCollum, get a lot of depth?
Or some picks.
So, yeah. So let's think of it this way. You got let's just talk about their most notable players. They got Dame, and let's say they trade CJ McCollum, and they got Gary Trent, and they got Nurkic. Right now, they got an old Melo, and I don't even know who starts at the 4. So, like, what do? You trade CJ McCollum, and you get some wings. I mean, if you get some wings, you know, we're talking. It's good. It's good for him, man.
I don't know. I feel like the perfect trade is CJ McCollum for Tobias Harris.
I love that. I
don't even know if you have to send anything else.
I don't think it's a perfect trade, at least for the 76ers. I think for the Blazers,
I think it makes tons of sense. Here's the thing, though. This is also dependent on them trading Ben Simmons. Because then you need a guard and a traditional guard. Don't even get me fucking started.
Because Tobias Harris is, and this says a lot about the 76ers, but he's one of their better scoring players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, and I understand you're trading for more scoring, but you're also like, he would be the second better
play
scorer.
3-4.
I know, but like I would want to keep Tobias Harris because if I do trade Ben Simmons or Embiid, I still want to keep some of my scoring.
You know would be an interesting trade, and the receiving team of CJ McCollum would have to send more than one player. But I think CJ McCollum for Kevin Love could be real interesting.
Maybe. There's
CJ
a lot
for
of guards
for Kevin Love, and then not Colin Sexton, Darius Garland.
Yeah, I can see that. But
maybe Love and Darius Garland.
Yeah.
That's an interesting trade.
You know what the Blazers should do? They should trade Hassan Whiteside, though. I think his contract expires this year. One of those. They should do something with them because you know what? He's playing 15 minutes a game since the bubble started, and Nurkic came back. It's garbage.
Bosnian beast, bro.
Yeah, Nurkic he's a man. Now, going back to the Lakers and Blazers. Okay. I like the way I think about things is I look at what, players' strengths and their not strengths are. So let's talk about that. The Lakers, the Lakers lost a lot of guard depth with Avery Bradley, Rajon Rondo. Say what you want about Rajon Rondo, it's still guard depth, Avery Bradley's obviously the bigger name they lost here. So who's going to guard Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum and Gary Trent? That's my first question. My second question, and this is, for the Blazers now, is who's going to guard LeBron? People keep talking about Anthony Davis, but I'm more worried about who's going to guard LeBron. You know what? Shooting woes or whatever. You're going to put Melo on LeBron? I don't see it. Like I said, I mean, unless you're going to put Zach Collins on LeBron. Zach Collins, as good as a defensive player he is, I mean, it's still LeBron. I think Anthony Davis could be limited at times, and I don't want to say limited. I don't want to act like he's going to get like 10 points a game, but I think he could, I think Nurkic could bring down his averages a little bit and, at least provide a challenge to Anthony Davis.
The only knock on a potential Nurkic-Anthony Davis matchup is Anthony Davis is much quicker than Nurkic is.
Yes.
So I feel like rotating Nurkic and Hassan Whiteside, because Hassan Whiteside is rangier and he's got more lateral quickness.
Yeah.
So he can keep up if he tries to drive towards the basket.
And so what Nurkic would have to do is not get caught on the three-point line with Anthony Davis. If he gets caught 100%. There, he's going to beat him. He's going to beat him to the rack. So those are my kind of questions. And then, I mean, unless Alex Caruso, he's gonna shut down Dame. The way you know what? It's been so quiet since this Orlando bubble started about Alex Caruso. As a joke, I told you that I wrote Alex Caruso was the Lakers' X factor as a joke because I knew he wasn't going to do shit. He's fucking garbage. I mean, I'm sorry, 18 minutes and you average 5 points and 2 rebounds and 2 assists a game in 18 minutes? No, fuck off, okay?
Hey, listen, though. His per 36-minute average is tough, bro. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Bro,
now we're talking.
Bro, let me tell you something. Any player that gets 1 rebound or 1 assist, gets 1 bucket in 6 minutes, and you're trying to tell me that he's good, I'm gonna fucking hit you. I'm gonna hit you. Like, I'm gonna hit you. That shit's so goddamn. You know what? Put me on an NBA floor for 6 minutes, and I'll get one bucket.
Yeah, because I'm cherry picking.
Yeah, I'd be like, LeBron, hit me with that touchdown pass. I'm gonna be right here waiting
I'm
for that
sitting in
ball.
the corner, bro.
I'm waiting
I'm
for the
sitting
ball.
in the corner.
No, so don't give me that shit. And you know what? Hustle plays, whatever. You know, high IQ, whatever. I don't give a shit. You got to be able to put stats up too. And this is where like eye tests and stats, you know, can reach a conflict. But don't give me this shit. They were saying Alex Caruso was going to be the guard in the organization. I was like, no, that's not.
You mean to tell me that outside of LeBron and AD, Lakers fans really believe in Alex Caruso or Kyle Kuzma as their third option?
I like Kyle Kuzma too. I do. I think if Kyle Kuzma went to the Spurs, I think he'd be a really good player. Not like really, really good, but like I think he would fit the system well. Rather,
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
I'd like Kyle Kuzma in San Antonio, but Spurs are a little like only a couple organizations are like the Spurs in which, you know, they kind of like groom, and they also, you know, Memphis is starting to be like that. Denver's starting to be like that where they're grooming players. There's only a couple organizations in the league that do that. So every other organization is you have your star, your second star, and your third star. And Kyle Kuzma's not third star. And he actually surprised me in a couple games when he was averaging, or he would get like 25 points or something. But no, I'm sorry. Kyle Kuzma's not even a factor for me. So, I mean, so I would say there's a push on the Lakers and the Blazers as far as who's going to guard the guards. But the Blazers have the advantage because they're going to score a lot. They're going to score. That's how they've been winning games. The Blazers defense is a little bit scary, as far as scary as in
bad scary, not
bad
like holy shit scary.
Yeah, it's like bad scary. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? But I think people are overrating the Lakers team as a whole. LeBron and Anthony Davis, yes, probably top 7, 2 of the top 7 players, maybe top 8. I don't know. But that's a really good duo. But you got to think, you know, this is the NBA playoffs, and LeBron's used to, you know, sweeping the first team and, you know, having that rest time. He's 35.
And he ain't doing that this year.
He's 35. He used to have a cakewalk. At least the first 2 series, he would be like, okay, this is, you know, and then.
And he's actually got to try in the first round this year.
And he's 35.
Because I don't care what you say. There's no way this Blazers team's getting swept.
No, they're not getting swept.
No, there's no way.
You know, I think you're crazy if you say Lakers in 5 too. I think the Blazers score way too much for it to be a 5-game series.
I really do think the X factor of this series is Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo going off for 34. Could you imagine, like, just that would
people, myself included, I will eat my slice of humble pie here. People were saying Melo was washed. People were calling for Melo to retire. I wasn't very high on Melo no more, and he went. Here's the thing. It didn't work in OKC because he couldn't accept a bench role.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it didn't work. He's finally accepted a bench role in Portland.
I said that for years.
He's making the most of that opportunity.
And this was evident in his Knicks years, when he was still a Knick, and I was like, you know what? Carmelo, I was like, if he could accept a bench role or a role that was like he was not the number one guy, he would be so much better to a team. And I don't know if he like finally realized that. I think he just got old enough to be like, okay, I can't do it all anymore. And it was like, let me step into this role. And now he's popping off with the Blazers as like the 3rd or 4th option. And you know what? He has his games where he just pops off. So you know what? I'm here for the Carmelo. I hope the Blazers go as far as they can, because I think Melo deserves it. This is like the first time in years he's been to a playoffs. So I don't know.
Yeah, because I think he went to the playoffs like once or twice as a Knick, and then all the years in Denver.
Yeah, that was it.
I mean, he's not going to make a conference final. He made one conference final in Denver. And I think that it was the 2009-2010 season where they played the Lakers. But outside of that, he doesn't have deep playoff experience. But I mean, who knows? Shit could get wild in the bubble. And could you imagine fucking NBA Twitter if the Lakers lost?
I would talk so much shit.
In a perfect world, here's what would happen. There's literally no way this is happening. But us basketball fans have been so patient, waiting for the NBA to come back. If we somehow got graced with a Blazers sweep in the first round, I can't even believe it. I would get a Blazers tattoo on me somewhere.
I'd get Damian. I would get that whole roster jersey. Like
I would, yeah, dude. I'd buy every jersey.
Oh man.
Like I said, there's no way it's gonna happen. But even if the Blazers win the series in general, oh my god, Twitter will melt.
You know what? And it's like, if you're taking this as like Lakers hate and LeBron hate, yes, it kind of is, because you guys are fucking unbearable. You really are. You guys are fucking, like, Lakers fans are unbearable. And you pair that up with, LeBron fans, they're fucking unbearable, man. I can't, like, I'm just like every day,
It's always something different.
I can't do it.
I'd be real curious to hear the Lakers or LeBron fans' excuses if they were to lose this series.
Bradley. It's Avery Bradley's fault. Not his fault.
Or not having a third star or something like that.
Or
it's the coach or something like that.
Bro, I'm telling you, right now, if you're listening to this and you're not a LeBron fan or a Lakers fan, you really want to talk shit to Lakers fans, go to every Lakers fan page and just go ahead and start bookmarking tweets. So when they go back and start deleting those tweets, if they ever lose, then you could be like, you said this, though. You said this. You said this. You said this. So, I don't know.
I dead-ass forgot who the Lakers head coach was.
Frank Vogel, yeah.
I dead-ass forgot.
He's going to get fired this offseason because the Lakers aren't going to win the championship. And
you think he gets fired after 1 year?
I think he does. I honestly think he does. And I think they hired Ty Lue.
God.
I'm speaking in existence. What is this, episode 7? Yeah. Speaking it right now. I'm telling you. You could write that on your board. I'd be like, Alex says.
I would put it right up there.
Oh, my God. You're fucking
right in small print. Listen, you
anyway.
tried doing that shit. Obviously, it's easy to put your fucking finger up, you dipshit.
Hey, look, the backpack's right here. Oh, I was close.
You missed it, though.
I
was at least on the board. Oh, see, look at that. That's perfect.
No, I'm with you, though. You know what? I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna say I think the Lakers win in 6 games. I think Dame's gonna pop off like 50 points twice, and they're gonna win those games. But I think the Lakers will win in 6 games. But God, my heart and a little bit like mostly like let's say 80% heart and 20% brain. I'm saying Blazers in 7. just to say it, you know what I mean? Blazers in 7.
Just in case it happens.
And I kind of like this. I think this is a little bit of an underrated matchup. Is the Clippers and the Mavericks, 2nd and 7. I think we talked about it last episode, but the Mavericks offense it's a really good offense, man. So I don't know. What are you thinking?
This definitely has potential to be the Western Conference's Indiana versus Miami, but for offense. That's the thing, because I don't know. I don't have as much faith in Patrick Beverley as everybody else does. I think Pat Bev's a little washed. I don't think he can keep up with guarding someone like Luka for 6 to 7 games, which is the series is going to go. The Clippers are not sweeping, and they're not winning in 5. They're winning the series.
Yeah. But
they're winning in 6 or 7 games.
I personally have Lakers. I have Clippers in 6. I think Luka is a hell of a player. I think Luka, and I don't want to say Luka eats, but I think Porzingis eats. I think he's going to average a lot of points just because I'm not really sold on Zubac. Montrezl Harrell is just now coming back. He's going to be a little bit rusty. I mean, you're talking about he hasn't played this whole Orlando bubble. These guys are already kind of warmed up, and this is like 2 weeks in. Put it into the context, let's say it's the start of the regular season. This is like 2 weeks in, so this is when players are already warmed up. They're kind of getting their conditioning. Montrezl Harrell, I like him, and I think he's a good 4th option, but I think he's going to be rusty this whole series. So
you want to talk about a player that would fit perfectly in a Spurs offense, to go back to that note you said earlier. Montrezl Harrell would be a hell of a Spurs player. He's a little undersized. He's a little undersized to play the 5. He's a hell of a 4, though.
Yeah.
A power forward, dude. He'd play good anywhere. I'm a big fan of Montrezl Harrell.
I love Montrezl Harrell. I think he's a really good player. Not talked about
And then,
enough.
I mean, and you always, I mean, you can't sleep on Lou Williams. You can
No,
never sleep on Lou.
but
I think
go ahead.
I think those two guys are the guys who are going to swing this series. If Montrez doesn't get back into rhythm and Lou has a bad series, then there might be an upset on our hands. Because, like, yes, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are two of the top 10, the top 15 players in the NBA. That's not debatable.
Mm-hmm.
But that depth starts to get a little shaky if Lou Williams doesn't play very well.
You know what? This bubble was very telling of how good the Clippers are if they don't have a primary ball handler. And you know what? It was rough because there was games when Kawhi and Paul George would be out. I mean, I think that one of the first games or whatever, they were both in foul trouble, and their bench was out, and it looked awful. Their bench looked awful. And you know what? Marcus Morris played really well with the Knicks. Is playing like garbage. He's playing like garbage. You know, he's supposed to be. When they made that trade, I was like, oh my god, the Clippers. You know, they're full in, and you know what? He's kind of made them worse. Mo Harkless kind of fit them better. Lou Will, I don't even think Lou Will's a good primary ball handler. I think Lou Will works best when he's not the number one guy on the floor. If he's the number two guy, I think he plays a lot better. And you know what? If let's say Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are out, you know, resting, whatever, you know, or not. I'm obviously not in the playoffs, but like they're taking minutes off and resting. You put Lou Will in there as a primary ball handler, and I think their offense is still stagnant.
Well, not only that. Sorry to interrupt, but not only that, they're going to get shredded on defense.
Yeah.
They would get shredded if your primary source on your team, if those two guys are sitting or if one's in foul trouble, if you got Lou Williams as your primary ball handler, that team is getting shredded defensively.
Yeah.
Because Lou Will can't defend. He's there for one reason only, and that's to fill the bucket, which he can do. But that man can't defend.
So I like the Clippers, but man, they're
that's a sneaky matchup.
And no team is perfect. Let's get that across the board. You know, I had the Clippers winning the championship from the get-go before the regular season started. But I can acknowledge no teams are. I don't want to talk to you.
My time's coming. Don't worry.
I know. We're almost there. I can acknowledge the Clippers weren't a perfect team. And you know, as deep as I think their team is, there's also some. You can have names on a team, but it's how well they fit. And you know that pride. They got a lot of defensive stoppers, but man, if you don't have a ball handler, it's kind of
that's something that's big for both those LA teams. What you just said is fans get attracted to names and not necessarily fit. So like, yes, you just said they traded for one of the Morris twins,
Marcus Morris,
and you're like, man, that team's going all in. When you hear it's just a name, you're like, wow, Marcus Morris could probably help them a lot. And it's just the name because the fact of the reality is both the Morris twins are garbage. So, like, how much would a Morris twin really help? Not at all.
Oh, I wouldn't say garbage. I think Markeith's garbage. I wouldn't say Marcus Morris is necessarily garbage.
We all know my 8-minute rant or however long it was a couple of episodes ago where I just tore into the Morris twins. We know how I feel about the Morris boys. But that is something. Same thing with the Lakers. You hear names like Avery Bradley and Rajon Rondo and people like Danny Green. When in reality, you think they're going to be pivotal pieces to a championship chase? No, they're not.
I laughed so hard when Danny Green signed with the Lakers for $14 million a year, and I knew this as a Spurs fan, as a dedicated Spurs fan, that after 2013, because that was the year the Spurs lost the championship. And he had like the finals of his life. He was so inconsistent. It was a love-hate relationship with Danny Green. You either loved him.
He set a record for most threes in a finals, didn't he? He had like 28 or something over 7 games, which is nuts.
Yeah, he beat Ray Allen's record.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That dude popped off in 2013.
And then after that was so inconsistent. And I couldn't stand it. So, like, as good as a defender he was, I was kind of getting sick of Danny Green because, you know, I was like, okay, he's a shooter. And now Lakers fans are just now realizing how inconsistent he is because, holy shit,
Everything's coming full circle.
Yeah, so I was just like, I laughed. I was like silently laughing, like laughing in darkness because I was like, you signed this guy for $14 million, bus boys.
To be fair, it's only a 1-year deal, isn't it?
2.
It's yikes.
Yep.
Big oof. I don't know. That Lakers front office has a bad rap sheet of back contracts to players who don't deserve it. See Luol Deng.
Yeah. Oof.
4 for 72. Get the fuck out of here.
KCP.
They signed KCP and then the center. What's the center's name? Timothy Mozgov.
Oh, I remember that. That shit was
4 for
funny.
64.
Oh, that was funny, man. $16 million a year for that guy.
They had both those guys in the same offseason. I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't know, man. It was it's hard to watch. Let's talk about the Mavs because I don't think the Mavs get enough love. Everyone talks about Luka and Kristaps Porzingis. A little bit, you dive into a little bit of the more dedicated fans. They'll talk about Tim Hardaway Jr. After that, there's not a lot of talk about anybody. I mean, I think Finney Smith Jr. I think he's a pretty good player. Seth Curry's there. If anyone,
he's been hooping in the bubble though.
Yeah,
Seth's been playing well.
He's a shooter, bro. He's a shooter.
Curry boys, hoopers, bro.
Trey Burke had a couple nights where he would just pop off and score. I mean, so there's a lot of scoring on that team. It's just the defense.
The defense will ultimately decide this series. Some of these games may decide, who hits 100 first, and some games maybe who hits 120 first.
Yeah, and
it's all gonna depend.
I think I'm with you though. I think Clippers win in 6. I think there's going to be 2 really high scoring games that the Clippers just aren't. They're not going to get enough stops, and you know what? The Mavs are just going to win 2 games just off of scoring.
But watch out for the Mavs though as a sneaky first round win. It's very sneaky.
I would cry because I've been talking my shit about the Clippers, and so I mean if that actually happened, I'd be like, fuck, I actually don't know anything about basketball. So I was like, all right, well, I don't know anybody but the Lakers.
Facts.
And the Rockets. Oh, God.
Also facts.
We'll get into the Rockets later because I'm about to roast the fucking Rockets too. Anyway, let's go to Garrett's favorite team. We got the Nuggets and we got the Jazz. Garrett, go ahead.
Nuggets in 5, baby. It's all on the board. Listen, though.
I'm actually with you, though. I'm with you.
This team's has way too much depth. Way too much depth. Jamal Murray coming back from an injury is playing well. The emergence of Michael Porter Jr. finally stepping into that massive role that he's destined for.
Love him.
Michael Porter may overtake Jamal Murray as the second best player in this team, which is saying something because Jamal Murray is a hooper.
I wrote that a couple days ago. I was like, I see Michael Porter Jr. just taking over as being the second. And you know what? Having Jamal Murray as your third guy is not bad at all.
No, you could do a lot worse than Jamal Murray as your third option.
So, yeah.
Bull's been playing well in the bubble.
When he plays.
Yes. They've got a lot of depth. Monte Morris, Torrey Craig, PJ Dozier has his moments. I have a love-hate relationship with PJ Dozier because he's had some games in the bubble where he'll drop like 16, 18 points a game. Or there's some games like the Miami game where I think he had like 3 fouls in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It's a very love-hate relationship. But this team, it's too deep. It's too deep. I mean, Jokic wins the battle with Gobert. Barely, though, because Gobert is all defense for his team, basically. He's a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, great.
Scorer.
Great player. Scorer.
Not defensive player.
They lost Bogdanovich to wrist surgery, right?
I knew they were done after that.
You got Joe Ingles, and then what's his name? Yeah, Mike Conley just left the bubble for the birth of his son.
Yep.
Or for the birth of a child. I don't know if it's a son or a daughter, but the birth of a child. So that loses guard depth, right?
Yeah.
So you can't. Nuggets in 4 may happen, but I'm giving the Jazz 1 game.
I'll give them 1 game.
That's my official pick is Nuggets in 5.
I think the Nuggets, as good as they are, and it's not their fault. I think it's just they have one bad game.
Everyone has a bad game.
I think they have a
Everyone
bad
has
game.
one.
And I always liked Quinn Snyder. I think he's a hell of a coach. And you know what?
Yes.
I think, real defensive guy, slow as molasses pace. I think that really disrupts the Nuggets offense at least one game. And that's the game I think that's the game the Jazz win. But other than that, there's just not enough talent. I like Royce O'Neal. I like Jordan Clarkson. I really like these. And I was big on this Jazz team
At the start of the year. You and I both were. You and I both were big on this Jazz team.
Because they had depth. But, it's just like Mike Conley kind of regressed a lot. They started playing a lot better when Jordan Clarkson. I mean, you could say that their schedule was really hard.
It's nice to see Jordan Clarkson blossoming.
Oh,
because Jordan Clarkson's always been a nice player. He's never been great. He's good. He's a nice player.
He's smooth.
He's got a nice jumper. He can defend all right. He's a team guy, which that's all those Utah guys are, except for Gobert.
Those Utah guys.
Those Utah guys are always nice, the Mormons up there, except for Gobert, who shut the season down.
Fuck Gobert.
Fuck Rudy Gobert.
We should just make shirts that say "Fuck Gobert." Fuck Rudy Gobert.
I'd wear it.
I wear it too. I'd wear it everywhere.
I'd
wear that shit in Utah. I should wear that in Utah. Yeah, I'd wear that shit in Utah. Like fuck Gobert.
I'd go to a Jazz game when the world stops ending, sit courtside, fuck Gobert, have a sign.
Yeah, them racist motherfuckers.
Fuck you, Shorzy.
Fuck you, Josie. Yeah, I think it's Nuggets in 5 though. There's a lot of depth
100%.
on this Nuggets team, so it's
way too talented.
And you know what? They're not going to get that much media attention because both of those teams are kind of small market teams, which is a shame because it could be like just really fundamental basketball, but I mean it's just
and both of these teams are really good. Like
when
let's
healthy,
not yes, that's what I'm gonna say. That like when healthy, Utah's a hell of a team. So like if this team, if you literally picked up this entire franchise and moved it somewhere else. This team gets so much love. Same thing with Denver. Oh my God, if you put this Denver roster in New York, holy shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna think they're title contenders. They're title favorites.
Oh yeah.
But I genuinely think it's this stigma around small market teams. San Antonio was the exception because San Antonio was an all elite organization.
But it took a long time to get to that. It took a long time.
It started with the David Robinson days.
Well, yeah.
Once they got Robinson, and then even then they weren't getting a lot of love. Then Tim Duncan started, and then you get Tony and Manu.
It was after our third ring that we finally okay, this team, they could
years of building.
So I mean, it takes a while. So I mean,
which is the weird thing about the Bulls. Going mad off track for 2 seconds. The Bulls were a dynasty. Mm-hmm. They win 6 out of 8. If Jordan stays, they win 8 in a row. 100%, no doubt in my mind. And you think once those guys leave, it's the pedigree of the organization where people are going to want to play for that pedigree. And then they fell off. I think a lot of that had to do with Phil Jackson leaving. Because the thing with the Spurs still being so good and everyone assuming they're still going to make the playoffs was a lot due to Pop. Mm-hmm. And maybe, had Phil stayed, that would have been different. But we all saw the documentary and fuck Jerry Krause. But
yeah, fuck Jerry Krause. That shit was annoying.
It's
like, this man's a whole ass bitch.
I could see, though, getting back on track a little bit, I could see a team like Denver becoming a team like San Antonio where maybe they win a ring, maybe they win 2 rings, and people finally start putting respect on these names and saying, okay, title contenders every year. Because, like you said, these teams aren't getting national media recognition. Utah, Denver, teams like that, just not getting love. Indiana's a hell of an organization.
I thought
from top to bottom.
Before the season, I had Indiana as the 3rd best team in the East. I did, and they ended up being 4th or 5th. So, and that was
injuries
the whole year, and Depot didn't play half the year. Sabonis.
I'm telling you, bro, put some respect on Nate McMillan's name.
Yeah, I mean, and people. I see Pacers fans upset with Nate McMillan. I was like,
nah,
I can't do it.
No, sir.
No, I can't do it.
Probably your best coach in franchise history.
Oh, Larry Bird.
And that's dating back to when. Yeah, get out of here. Get out of here. Like, yes, he took Reggie Miller to a conference final. Like, congratulations, but nah. Not continued success over and over again.
I'll give you that. So yeah, we're both set on Nuggets in 5. You know, if
100%.
Jazz were fully healthy, I'd still pick the Nuggets.
Yes.
I know Garrett would.
If everyone was healthy, Bogdanovich healthy,
I would say
Conley
Nuggets
there,
in 7.
Nuggets in 6.
I'd say 7, but it's okay.
But Nuggets win regardless, no matter what.
Exactly. All right.
I don't see a scenario where this team loses.
This is going to be my favorite matchup of the Western Conference is the Thunder and the Rockets. And you know what? This was a lot of the reason why I thought if the Pelicans made it before Alvin Gentry just threw the game away.
Literally
threw games away. Like I thought was the narratives of OKC and the Rockets. First of all, you have Chris Paul on his revenge tour. He went to the Thunder. And, you know, Thunder come back to life. You know, first of all, let me go through a lot of the Thunder players' names and why I didn't think the Thunder was going to be good. Chris Paul, I thought, was washed. I thought Dennis Schroeder was too inconsistent. Steven Adams was limited. I thought Gallinari was injury-prone. Shea, I'm not even trying to whatever. SGA.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, bro.
Yeah, and I thought he was unproven.
I got you. I got your back.
Yeah, I thought he was unproven. I think that's most of who I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Anyway, those 5 players. So I was like, you know what? This is a recipe for disaster. You know what? They got names, but I didn't think they were going to be that good. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs for sure. And you know what? They proved me wrong and are 4th or 5th. Doesn't matter. They're in the playoffs and they're playing against the Rockets. And you know what? It just makes it so much better that Russell Westbrook was traded to the Rockets. And then, the Rockets traded Chris Paul for him. And, I mean, it's just like the narratives around it are just – it's going to be so dramatic. And, I'm a whore for drama. And so, like, I'm going to be ready to watch this series every time it's on. And you know what? Oh, my God. And you know what? When I was talking about the Lakers and LeBron fans, I feel that way about Rockets fans and Harden fans. Rocket fans were already unbearable, and Harden fans are literally just fucking stupid, and I hate them, and they're so fucking annoying. Like,
Mans just can't stand James Harden.
I can't. Like, I think he's a good player. He is a really good player. He's, one of the best players in the league, right? Hate how he plays. I cannot stand it. And I can respect that he's one of the best players in the NBA, but holy shit, I hate how he plays. And you know what? I hate Harden fans because they're so fucking extra. And I could go into a whole fucking episode about just why I hate Rockets fans and Harden fans, but man, they're fucking unbearable. So you know what? If you're listening to this and you're a Rockets fan, Harden fan, Lakers fan, LeBron fan, fuck you. I don't like you. I just don't like you. I'm sorry. Well, not all LeBron fans. I do have friends that are LeBron fans, but you know what? I can't stand James Harden. There's people. First of all, let's get your pick on this. Who do you got?
I'm gonna make my thoughts short and brief, and I have a bit of a bold prediction here, and then I'm gonna let you have the floor, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
But I'm taking the Thunder in 7.
Okay, I like that.
I'm taking Oklahoma City only because I think the small ball and ball dominance of Russell Westbrook and James Harden will prove to be their downfall. I think that Robert Covington isn't going to produce as much as people think. He's not going to stop, Steven Adams in the post. I think Gallinari is having a career resurgence in Oklahoma City, which I love to see. Gallinari, when he was in Denver, was one of my favorite players. He was just injury prone. That's the thing.
And he was a good player in the Clippers when he played.
Yes, 100%. But hey, he's having a career resurgence. Dennis Schroeder, he's on short list for 6th man of the year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to have the keys to the franchise in a couple years. But we are in the middle of Chris Paul's revenge season, SZN season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see Chris Paul is going to be more fueled by the fact that he was traded from Houston for Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah.
If they were playing anybody else, I'm not taking the Thunder. Literally anybody else. I'm not taking the Thunder. But then playing the Rockets on a neutral court, I will say this as well. I think a lot of this goes into home court advantages and stuff like that. But playing in a neutral court with no fans and stuff like that, I'm taking the Thunder in 7.
I think the Thunder are mad slept on. I think they're just a really good. I agree with you though. The Thunder in 7. And you kind of hit a lot of the points I was going to hit. James Harden, Russell Westbrook. I knew they would make the playoffs. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Rockets weren't.
They're way too talented to not make the playoffs.
Like it would be one of the biggest what the fucks ever if they didn't make the playoffs. I knew, and I wasn't like calling coward and was like, oh yeah, they're not making the playoffs. I agree with you though. Their ball dominance is just it doesn't work. I mean, you could say, oh, they made the playoffs because of their ball dominance. That's different. This is playoffs. Playoffs are different. I thought Robert Covington was a really good pickup for their defense because their defense was it was bad. I was like, oh my god. You do get like Eric Gordon back, but he's Eric Gordon. Like, I mean, he's there. He's just there. You know what I mean? You could say what you want about Ben McLemore, whatever.
Ben McLemore.
Not that Austin Rivers. I've always kind of liked Austin Rivers, but like, I'm sorry, this PJ Tucker on Jeff Green. Like, it's just there's a lot of for me. James Harden's gonna pop off. He's gonna do his thing. Russell Westbrook's probably gonna have a couple bad games in there. James Harden's gonna shoot 20 free throws. Yeah.
I don't know. I thought about something that was gonna make you really mad, so I held it back.
Oh, I mean, whatever.
I was gonna say Russell's gonna have a couple of padded triple doubles in there.
It's not even. He has a winning. He has such a winning record when he got a triple double. So I hate that he was stat padding. I hate that narrative because he had a winning record when he did. So it's like obviously he was helping the team win. Anyway, James Harden's going to shoot 20 free throws a game. It's already kind of written in there. He's going to have some turnover. I mean, I don't know. I don't like this Rockets team. And it's maybe that's why I hate the Rockets so much is because I don't think they're – what are you looking at?
I am listening.
What are you looking at?
So I have shelves in my room that I put up for my Funko Pops. For those of you who don't know how I'm big into Funko Pops and I collect them. And I built shelves and put them on my wall. But I think I'm realizing that the brackets I use to put into the wall are like mad crooked.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, very unique. No, but like fuck, I lost my train of thought. Yeah.
They're talking about the Rockets.
They're too ball dominant. They're too ball dominant to just. It's not going to work. What people don't realize in the playoffs is there's more coaching involved because you're playing the same team. That's game planning. And you know what? Say what you want. Billy Donovan, he's a pretty good coach. And you know what? I think he's on the short list for Coach of the Year.
He's finally coming into his own.
Yes, he really is.
Those first couple years coming out of Florida were rough.
So I don't know. This is going to be a dramatic series. I think it's going to go to 7. I mean, as much as we've just praised the Thunder and talk shit about the Rockets, I will respect that the Rockets will probably take it to 7. But man, I hope. You know what? My best thing is if the Blazers don't beat the Lakers is if OKC beats the Rockets and then the Lakers. Oh my God, I'd buy a Thunder jersey right now. Like I'd be like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, man. I don't know. I do like the Thunder though in 7.
I think going off of what you just said, I genuinely think either team that comes out of this 4-5 matchup can beat the Lakers in the second round.
I think so too. Everyone's acting like the Lakers are invincible, and no team is invincible in the playoffs.
No.
The Grizzlies lost to the Grizzlies beat the Spurs one year when the Spurs were a first seed and the Grizzlies were the 8th seed. It's all about matchups. They had Zebo and Marc Gasol against Tim Duncan, and they limited Tim Duncan, and therefore the Spurs lost in the first round. It's all about matchups.
Memphis boys used to be trouble.
I hated playing Memphis, and I was talking to Jackson about that too. I was like, I hated playing Memphis because man, that grit and grind. I was like, fuck, I can't do it, man. That shit's no. No, I don't want it. No. No. That I think that's every playoff matchup. Now, this is just brief. So like this is if let's say all of our picks are right. You know, let's go into second round and Western Conference or the Western Conference final or the conference finals and then the finals. Just, who and who you got. No need explanation because it's probably going to change. I don't think we'll go 100%, but I think we'll get close. So let's go start back at the Eastern. The Bucks win and we said the Heat. Bucks win and Heat win. Who do you got?
Oh God, dude. I think I have Bucks in 7. I think.
You got Bucks
I
in 7?
think, man.
I got Heat in 7. I'm going
I
Heat
don't,
in 7.
dude. Because I just sang their praises earlier, but like hearing it, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I think Giannis makes the conference finals, but I think that's where the train ends this year.
That's all you got to do is make Giannis mad.
Don't.
You get Jimmy Butler on Giannis to
Oh
make
my
him mad.
God. Oh, dude, we have to have the second round matchup so Butler can guard Giannis for 7 games.
And just talk shit to him the whole
Just
entire
talk
time.
so much shit.
Oh,
That'd be excellent. I'd love that.
I need a mic'd up version of that. I need a mic'd up.
Like, I know we can already hear voices a little bit as it is.
Yeah.
But, like, man, I need mics on these guys.
So you got Bucks versus Heat. You got Bucks in 7.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
we'll do that. The other matchup would be Raptors and Celtics.
God.
I think that's another 7.
That's another 7. I think I take Boston.
I'd take Boston too. But I will tell you, whichever team wins the series is going to the finals.
Correct. Yes, 100%.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Nope.
They go to the finals. And so let's go to the second round for the Western Conference. We both picked the Lakers with the heart of Blazers. But so let's just say Lakers. If we went with OKC, what do you got?
I got the Lakers. I hate it. I hate picking the Lakers because I just said I think they have a big chance to beat the Lakers whoever comes out of that matchup, but I think I take the Lakers.
OKC in 6.
Yikes. In 6? Ooh. He's feeling spicy.
I am. I got spicy pits, man. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I may be wrong. And you know what? OKC might not even go. If it's the Rockets, I'll take Rockets in 6 too. Just fuck it. I'll fucking do it.
Damn.
You know what? I will tell you though, when the Rockets played the Lakers that first time in the regular season, and they went to that small ball where PJ Tucker and Anthony Davis had issues.
True.
He had issues. So I don't know.
Something to watch.
OKC, Rockets, I'll take 6. I'll take Lakers in 6. Not even 7 games. Fuck your 7. 6 games.
Damn. That's nuts to me.
And they win on their home floor though. They went on their home floor.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking crazy. That's what we're doing. Lakers and the Nuggets.
You mean Nuggets Clippers?
Yeah. What did I say? Denver and the Nuggets?
No, you said Lakers Nuggets.
Yeah, sure.
I mean that's going to be the conference final matchup because I got Nuggets in 6.
6? You're talking about me.
Yep.
All right.
I got Nuggets in 6.
I got Clippers in 7.
That's bad. Bad pick.
Boo! I'm sticking with my Clippers.
Boo your pick. Boo!
I'm sticking with the Clippers. I think it goes Clippers in 7. And so that would leave let's go back to the East real quick. So you had Bucks in 7, right?
Yep.
And then you had Celtics in 7.
Yep.
What we got?
I got Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6. Love the pick. I got Celtics in 5 against the Heat. Maybe 6.
No,
the Heat.
No, we did the second round matchup already. I thought we were in the conference finals.
We are, but I picked the Heat over the Bucks.
Oh, true. That is true. True. I forgot about that.
So
I did forget about that. It's true.
I don't want Celtics.
So you have Celtics over Miami in 5.
I don't know, 5 is just it's a hard number. I'll go 6.
I could see it though. I could see them beating Miami in 5.
I think they could. I don't know. I'll go 6. Just to be on the safe side. I'll go Celtics in 6. All right. So that means in the Western Conference Finals, I have the Lakers and OKC or the Rockets. Doesn't matter. Wait, I don't have the Lakers. I have the Clippers. Clippers and OKC or the Rockets. Doesn't matter. I have the Clippers and 6. So I have the Clippers going to the finals. You have Lakers and Nuggets.
Yep.
I wonder who's going to the finals.
Listen, I know that you think this is going to be biased.
No, I really don't. I think if the Nuggets, I think just like the Celtics and the Raptors, I think not Lakers. I think if it's the Nuggets and the Clippers, whoever wins that series is going to the finals. No cap.
I've got Nuggets in 6 over the Lakers.
Oh, but I'm crazy for picking the Nuggets. I'm a little crazy. I'll give you that though. So you got Nuggets and Celtics.
Yep.
Who's
Which I'm going to make a little caveat here, a little fun side note for our viewers. DraftKings Sportsbook has been made legal in the state of Colorado. I put down a $50 bet on a Celtics Nuggets final at plus 6,600. So I'd win over I think I'd win like $3,200 or something like that.
Holy shit!
I put down $50 because that's how confident I am in that matchup.
Wow!
I spent $50. I'm gonna place a bet on the Nuggets to win the finals too because they're plus 2,200. So a $50 bet would be plus. I'd win $1,150.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That's how confident I am.
Good on you. I mean, if the Nuggets pull it off and go to, I think it's the Celtics. But man, that's
Listen. Could you imagine though? Okay, here's the thing. I hate this. This hurts my heart to say this, but I think a Nuggets Celtics finals. I think the Celtics win in 7.
I think it's an instant classic though.
But it's guaranteed 7 games, and it's one of the best finals we've ever seen because it's 2 teams who have mastered positionless basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a better matchup. All biased aside, just from a viewership standpoint, either that. I mean, obviously, Lakers Bucks would be a really good matchup to see.
No, fuck that matchup.
No, listen though. Listen, I know you don't like the Lakers. I know you don't like LeBron, but watching Giannis and LeBron play for 35 minutes against each other for 6 or 7 games would be incredible TV. 100%. You can't argue that.
Absolutely.
But outside of that matchup, I can't think of a better matchup than Boston and Denver.
I would say the Clippers. I don't know. I think Raptors or Celtics. I would be excited about seeing in the finals, and I would like to see the Lakers and the Nuggets in the finals. This would be the Nuggets' first finals ever, correct?
Yeah, I know.
Oh man. I mean, that's exciting for you.
We were close in 2009, man. We ran into Kobe.
So I mean, it's gonna. I think it's. I don't care as long as it's those 4 teams. I would honestly sit back and enjoy watching, just best
and not
teams
root and just watch.
If the Nuggets win the finals, as unbearable as you would be, I would root for the Nuggets for you.
I'd be unbearable.
You
for a little bit, not a lot.
Sometimes you're unbearable, and it's like you haven't even made the playoffs yet. Okay, and
Listen,
you were getting unbearable for me. I would root from afar and not say I was rooting for the Nuggets, even though I just said I did. I'm going to, but I'd be like,
if the Nuggets win the finals,
I'm blocking you. Just
we wouldn't record a podcast for a month again because all I talk about is the fucking Nuggets.
And the whole offseason coverage. Yeah, so the Nuggets, right? They're gonna go back to back. They might win 5 in a row.
You mean the defending champs for Nuggets, right?
I think there's one thing I do want to address though, and anyone that thinks that I'm not counting on the Raptors, I ate my humble pie because Garrett was right about it. Raptors were a really good team, and you know what? They're second in the Eastern Conference. My biggest knock on the Raptors is not having a go-to guy. They don't have that guy. They're an extremely deep team, but who is getting the ball when you're down 5? And you know what? You're a big Kyle Lowry guy. I don't want to get into that.
I am a big Kyle Lowry guy, but I don't think Kyle Lowry is necessarily the go-to guy. But I don't necessarily think you need to have a go-to guy when you have 6 guys who can average 15 points a game.
You got to have a guy. There's got to be one guy that the ball needs to be in his hands.
If you have to pick a guy, I think Siakam's the guy.
I'm not confident to that though.
I'm not confident in either, but I think if I'm an opposing coach and we just hit a big bucket to go up 2, or we'll just go up 1. We'll just go up 1. 6 seconds left on the clock, right? I'm doubling Siakam because I'm assuming Siakam's getting the first touch.
And that's
or Van Vliet.
I like Van Vliet. I can't do it. I don't think you need that guy. And, it's kind of like there's no question the ball is going into his hands. You know what I mean? Like LeBron is the go-to guy, right? Yeah, you could say Anthony Davis might score, but most of the time people are going to – if you're game playing – I don't know.
I don't know. The assumption was that the ball was going to see LeBron or AD, and then Kyle Kuzma shot the last shot against Denver.
He did, but he got passed. Who held the ball most of the time?
Well, yes, that's fair.
And that's my whole thing. It's like, okay, if you're holding the ball and you're either going to shoot it or you're going to make the right play, and that's what he did. Beautiful play design, actually. I was amazed at how open Kyle Kuzma was. Beautiful play design.
Frank Vogel has always been a decent coach.
He's going to get fired after this year when the Lakers.
Well, I mean, yes, because they're not making out of the conference finals, but like.
Yeah, they're not even making the conference finals.
Well, that's where you're wrong, but go off, sis.
But the Celtics have at least 2 players they can go to.
I'd say 3.
Who's the third?
Lou.
Who?
Lou.
No. Celtics.
Oh, you said. Oh, I thought you said Clippers. Sorry.
No, Celtics.
They got.
Jason Tatum.
They got 2.
And Kemba Walker.
Kemba, yeah.
And no doubt that they can give the ball to. And Brad Stevens, as genius as a coach he is, you know what? He's gonna draw up plays.
And honestly,
that's
maybe an unpopular opinion here, but I think Kemba gets the first touch. I think Kemba's that number 1 option. Just because he has a history of it.
He's proven. Jason Tatum.
Cardiac Kemba.
Jason Tatum, his time's coming. But I think no doubt, and that's my biggest advantage I have for the Celtics over the Raptors is
as a go-to guy.
They have those go-to guys. You know what? Whenever you need a bucket or whatever, you need someone to take over the game, they have 2 of them. So that's my whole thing. I got Celtics and Clippers in the finals, and I'm sticking with my pick with Clippers winning the championship. And you know what? I have a love as a basketball fan. I love Kawhi Leonard, and as a Spurs fan, Kawhi Leonard still stings. It stings. It hurts. I'm really excited about the young core in San Antonio. As you can see in the bubble, they played pretty well. Almost got to the playoffs. I mean, they were flirting.
Bro, they were fighting, bro.
They were flirting. So I was happy about that. You know what? And it really I'm glad Greg Popovich kind of embraced that. We almost got to 1 episode without talking about the Spurs.
I think Pop realized that the climb to get to the play-in game was going to be so massive. He kind of just thought, let's see what my young guys can do. And then the young guys stepped up.
And you know what?
Lonnie Walker looked good. Keldon Johnson looked good, too.
Oh, man. Keldon Johnson's – that's a dog.
Keldon Johnson looked good, dude. He's a dog, man. Yeah,
I know.
And he fits that system perfectly, to be fair.
I'm excited.
That's another guy.
I'm really excited about it. But I am going to stick with Clippers. I'm going to go with Clippers. Before the season, I had Clippers and 76ers until I realized how bad this experiment was for the 76ers. So I'm sticking with the Clippers, though. I had the Clippers winning from before the season. I can't back down now. I'll go Clippers in 7. But, man, as long as the Lakers and the Rockets lose, and like I said, those 4 teams, Clippers, Nuggets, Raptors, or Celtics are in the final, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic.
In a perfect world, for both of us, I think. In a perfect world, OKC beats Houston, and the Blazers beat the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect world.
I'm fine. I'm good.
At that point, you probably don't even care who wins.
Nope.
Because then you're just watching basketball.
No, because then I got to say the Bucks still have to lose because I've talked my shit about the Bucks, and so the Bucks need to lose to prove that I was right. And then once that happens, I'm happy. Those 3 teams need to lose, and I'll be happy with whatever outcome. The fucking Mavericks could go and win the finals, and I'd be fine.
Could you imagine, though?
God, a fucking 7th seed going and win the finals? Godly.
Kill myself.
Imagine if I would. You know what? You know what's crazy? If Charles Barkley was right and the fucking Blazers went to the finals, I would give Charles Barkley so much respect if he somehow called that shit. I know he's just media hype, just kind of talking, just the ratings, all that jazz, whatever. You know, 'cause that's
Yeah,
what he
just
did.
just trying to provide sound bites, but God, imagine.
Oh, man.
I'm
That shit.
telling you, dude, there's a chance that the Blazers beat the Lakers in the first round.
What I don't want people doing is thinking it's impossible.
Well, I mean, think about last year. Nobody picked the Blazers to beat the Thunder, and then the Blazers won in 4 or 5 games, right?
Blazers won in 5 or 6. It wasn't
But
no
they were the
sweep.
heavy dogs.
Yeah,
They were heavy dogs, and they beat Paul George and Russell Westbrook.
yeah. So I mean, and you know what? People talk about the Lakers and playoff LeBron, and I get that, and that's why I picked the Lakers because I don't think LeBron was trying, but I think he's old. He's getting old. He's 35, and you're
Just
talking.
picture this. I want you, and I want all of our listeners to just immerse yourself in what I'm gonna say. Picture this, right? It's Game 7. The virtual fans are going nuts. All the benches are standing up, right? LeBron drives down, 20 seconds left or so, but they got about 8 or 9 seconds left on the shot clock. LeBron's got the ball at the top of the 3-point line, right? AD comes, sets a screen. He splits the 2 defenders, drives to the basket, yams it home. Lakers up 1, right? 8 or 9 seconds left. Terry Stotts calls timeout. Inbounds pass to Damian Lillard. Everyone clears out. And just at the top of the court is Damian Lillard and LeBron James. The ultimate alpha v alpha matchup, right? And he cooks him and steps back and hits a 3 and wets it. And for the second year in a row, he upsets the heavy favorites in the matchup and waves them by.
If he waves LeBron James and Anthony Davis goodbye, put him in the Hall of Fame while he's playing. While he's playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, Lillard's a Hall of Famer.
While he's playing, you could put him in right now. He's first ballot right now.
Like the Blazers would retire his jersey while he's playing and give him a statue outside the Moda Center in Portland.
Could you?
And just like this,
dude, that would be cold. Just a fucking.
But imagine though.
Oh my god, I talk so much shit.
Imagine the clip.
Twitter would break down. They would break down, and then for the whole week it would be slow because all I would see was Damian Lillard waving off LeBron James, and it actually wouldn't be so slow because all the Laker fans, or not Laker fans, well maybe Laker fans and LeBron fans would all deactivate their account for at least a week.
I would buy a Damian Lillard jersey and frame it and hang it in my room.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy one of it. I'm gonna buy his jersey. I think he's the best Blazer player to ever play.
Shout out. This is not paid promo here. Shout out Retro Jersey Shop on Twitter as our plug for jerseys. That's where Alex got his jersey, his Raptors jersey. That's where I got my Michael Jordan All-Star Edition Bulls jersey. Got him on the plug.
Great.
Mad cheap jerseys, very high quality.
Yeah,
they make shorts
quality,
too, high quality.
Well, I need to get one of those shorts. I need to get some shorts.
I'm gonna order some of them Memphis Grizzlies teal shorts, dude. Them hot, bro.
Ooh, man.
Them shit's hot, man.
All right. I think. Did you have story time? You have anything?
I had story time last time because I told the story about Slitterbond.
Dead ass. Don't have anything prepared. Give me a story to say.
Give you a story, or why should I just tell another story?
I don't know because I can't think of one right now. I don't know what we've done.
I'll tell another story, and then you got to come up with a story next time.
Well, you got. Okay.
Okay.
Because I don't remember which stories we've done. Which one are you doing?
I'm doing a personal story. You shared a personal story. I'm sharing a personal story.
When did I do a personal story?
About you being taken by the cops at your school for the cat piss in your backpack.
Yes. Oh, classic. Okay, go ahead.
So, this is a little different story time because it's not the misadventures of Garrett and Alex. It's just the misadventures of Garrett because I'm a dumbass. So, I'm exposing myself a little bit here because my parents don't know this, and
Oof.
my parents listen to every episode, and I know
Oof.
my dad does at least, so he'll probably send me a text.
Look,
But
hey, just Mr. Mike, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
so I, like you guys know, Alex and I are both military brats, which
Mm.
means our dads were Air Force, and we've lived all over. When I was living in Albuquerque, I was probably, I don't know, when this happened, I was probably 10, 11 or so, maybe. At any rate, I had a big group of friends that I used to hang out with on base. I was best friends with my next door neighbor because the way the house was set up in Albuquerque is on base. The houses were literally bang smack against each other, right? There's a little bit of space in between for like walls and like privacy and like you can't hear anything stuff like that. But like the garages right next to each other, there's no separation in the house. So you go up to one mutual driveway and there's two houses and on the side for the doors, right? Just paint a little picture for you. I was best friends with the family next door. He was probably, I think he was like 2 years younger than I was. No big deal. Um, and then next door to me to my right, and then a couple houses down, then down the block and stuff like that. At any rate, big group of friends. There was probably at our our highest point is probably 9 or 10 people we hung out with on a day-to-day basis almost, especially on weekends.
Mhm.
And the old house I was living in Albuquerque was in Zia. That's what the neighborhood was called. It was called Zia, like Zia housing, Zia Park, stuff like that. And they were rundown houses. These houses were pieces of shit. No yard, just dirt and stickers, and the houses were old and just didn't look good. They tore them down, and then we got a brand new house that they just freshly built. It was sick.
Hold on. When we say stickers, if you're from the South, you know what we're talking about. If you guys are North, you guys have no stickers. Are just these annoying little things. It's not like little actual stickers. Like, oh my God, there's stickers on this building. No, like
No,
stickers are like things in the grass that like poke you,
it,
and
it they call them stickers in Texas too, don't they?
they do, yeah. They're
They're like little thorn thingies. You
yeah,
step on them, they stick to your shoes, and you get them in your skin, and they hurt, and you got to stick them out and stuff like that. They're the worst.
yeah.
Stickers
They're
are
very
awful.
annoying. They're very annoying. So
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure everyone
To
knew that.
clarify, that everyone knew what stickers were, fair enough.
Thinking like stickers, like it's just
How are there stickers everywhere?
just peel it off, like.
Just peel it off, forehead.
Anyway, go on.
And so when they moved everybody out of Zia housing, right? And we got the new house, and all of my friends moved over to the new houses, and they were already in there and stuff like that. Well, they tore down all the old houses in Zia Park, and they turned it into a training ground for like air missions and stuff like that. For like they like skydiving practice and like pulling chutes and stuff like that, and also like building rescue missions and stuff like that. It was kind of sick, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was blocked off to the public. You couldn't drive through anymore. It was all fenced up, high fences, wires on top, stuff like that. It was meant for people, just enlisted personnel, to be in there. Well, one night we decided to play a game. We were at the youth center one night, and my friends came over. We were hanging out at the skate park and stuff like that. And my parents knew they were there. Parents knew that I was at the youth center because that's where I used to go after school and stuff like that. I used to hang out at the youth center. It was like a Friday night. My parents were hanging out with the next door neighbors. Shout out to the Walls family. They used to hang out in the garage all the time. And we went over to Zia Park, right? And we hopped the fence. And in the training ground, they had a part that was completely set, and a part was under construction. And it was all open, and like rebar everywhere and stuff like that, right? And we were playing Manhunt. For those of you who don't know what Manhunt is, you play at night. You can't play during. Well, it's not as fun during the day, at least. It's a lot more fun at night because it's dark. You have if you have a lot of people, you have teams who are it, and they go all over, and you hide and stuff like that. And you can also run around and avoid the people who are it, basically. And when you get caught, you get tagged. You're done. Got to go back to the safe zone, stuff like that.
Yeah, there's like a prison or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So we decide to play Manhunt in the training ground, the buildings and the construction site and stuff like that. Well, all good. Shit's having a good time, stuff like that. And I don't think we were being loud, but evidently we were being loud because the cops were called.
Oof.
And we know that because we're sitting on my team. There was like 2 or 3 of us on my team. My team was sitting in the construction part of the zone, right? And outside, we see 2 squad cars driving this direction, driving towards Zia, right? And so we're like, fuck. Like, I don't know what's going to happen when we get caught, right? And so they pull up to the fence, right? And they got to open the fence because it is manually open. You have to have the key to open it up and stuff like that, right? And we see them pull up to the fence. We're like, holy shit. Like, we got to fucking go. And so we run down. We're freaking out, stuff like that. They get through the fence. They're driving up, right? I go to hop the fence. I'm help people up, stuff like that. I jump up, grab someone's hand, get pulled over. While I get pulled over, I cut my hand on a piece of like barbed wire they have on the top. Because there was a little opening that was probably 2 or 3 feet wide.
All military bases have barbed wire, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
And there was a little 2 to 3 foot opening where they didn't have barbed wire, right? It was in between like where the gate was and the start of the fencing. So there was a little opening we could sneak through. I cut my hand and have a scar on my hand, 1.5 to 2 inches long on my hand, from jumping over the fence to not get caught by the cops, playing manhunt in an authorized personnel area
now
in Albuquerque.
Holy fuck, Jesus! And guys, like, I don't think you understand when we say police, it's military police.
Yes, okay, that's big to me too, because military police and off-base police, totally different.
No, because like off-base police, you might get a slap on the wrist. They might call your parents, whatever. You might get like, hey, they'll take you to the house, like, hey, you're trespassing, dude. No, like military police.
Like if we would have got caught,
you're in trouble.
We would have went somewhere.
Yeah,
we would have spent the night somewhere.
That's like
at a juvie center or something.
It's a lot worse. It's like that
military police hit different, bro. It hits really different.
So it's like, yeah. So Jesus Christ, I'm glad I wasn't part of that because man, my bitch ass was like, oh guys, this says authorized personnel.
We shouldn't be in here, guys. Can't we go play somewhere else?
I'm like, no, guys, I'm going home. I'm going home. I've already had bad experiences with cops. No, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have been like, You guys
so much fun. So much fun.
You know what? It's fun when you have to look back on it. You're like, wow, we didn't get caught, and this was really fun. But me, I would have been freaking out. I would have got a stop.
Oh my god, you wouldn't have went.
No,
you wouldn't have went.
And if I did, I would have got y'all caught because I'm like, guys, no, they're right here.
You would have panicked and not been able to get over the fence, and then all of us would have been over the fence except your bitch ass, and you would have been like, cops pull up, got the lights on. Hi guys.
Guys, and you know what? I don't care. I'm singing. I'm snitching on everyone. I was like, he was here. They were there. This is their address. This is where they live. I got my phone. We call their moms right now.
Call their moms, bro.
God damn, Carrie. Jesus. Now, you said that was in Albuquerque?
Yeah, we're living in Albuquerque.
Man. Oh man, fucking! It's always good to look back on like.
I got the scar on my left hand to show for it.
Bro, it's always good to look back on shit like that and be like, wow, we did that shit. It's like, and you got away with it, so it's all that matters. I think that's gonna do it for this episode, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
We're dealing with time constraints. I just started a new job. I'm not gonna tell you what my job is, because I don't need y'all being like, you be like, hey, this guy, this is not it, firing. So I'm not gonna tell y'all. But I just started a new job. Garrett's still on the same schedule, so we're dealing with time constraints. I know it's been 2 weeks, but I'm gonna try, and maybe if we get a Wednesday where we can, whenever the second round starts, I would want to do another episode, just in case. Let's say none of our picks are right, and so we got to go back in
and do it all over again.
Talk about.
God, imagine if we go 0 for 8. I'd kill myself.
So like. Blazers win, the Rockets win, the Mavericks win,
the Nets win,
the Magic win.
God, my God, if the Magic win against the Bucks, I don't know that I care who wins. That's a lie, obviously, but like, man, listen.
Yeah. So I'm shooting for the next episode to be whenever the second round starts. And if it's like Wednesday, and there's like a couple games left and we might not be able to do it that weekend, I will try to do it that Wednesday. We're like, look, this team's going to lose. All the other teams are already kind of set up. And so we'll just go ahead and go into it then.
The time constraints are going to be a weird thing going forward just because with my job, I have a set schedule every single week, and I've dedicated Wednesdays off every single week, whereas Alex, again, not going into his job, he'll be working during the day on Wednesdays. And typically, we can't do the podcast at night.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot harder to do at night, basically.
It's a lot. Everything has to go right to be able to do it at night. And so,
yes.
And so that's why we're doing this on Sunday. I was busy yesterday, or else I would have thought, we could do it, but I had a full schedule yesterday. So today's Sunday. So we're trying to get that into it, but Garrett's been talking a lot more shit about getting the episode out. So, you will hear us. You will hear from us, because I don't like when Garrett talks shit to me. And I'm like,
preface. So Alex texted me last Friday, right? And he goes, "Hey, we're going to do a podcast tomorrow." I'm like, "Bet, I got you." Saturday comes. I text Alex. We're coming up with ideas and stuff like that. I think we had a really decent show.
Yeah.
Planned.
Because we were going to talk about the Suns.
We're talking about the Suns.
We
were
never
talking about TJ Warren.
And we didn't talk about the Suns at all in that first bubble episode. And I felt super bad about that because the Suns ended up being like, fuck you guys. We're better than you think.
And we didn't even bring up the Suns now.
No, we didn't. Well, they're not in the playoffs. So.
Well, I guess that's fair. But Saturday comes, and I text Alex, and I'm like, "Hey, when are we thinking?" And he goes, "Hey, about that." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "I'm not really feeling it today."
I was out of it. I was very lethargic that day.
And I'm like, "The fuck do you mean?"
So, yeah, we didn't do it that day.
So, yes, just know I got y'all's back. If he starts to slack, I'm going to give him shit again.
Yeah, so, and, I do need to get better about that. But I'm hoping it's going to calm down and, my body will get into that schedule. Like, okay, we're good. But, like I said, look for another episode probably before the second round of the playoffs. And I would give us about a week or a week and a half-ish.
About a week or so.
But I think that's going to be it for this episode. If you can, we are with Vendetta Sports Media. Check out the website. Check out the merch store. There's a lot of good stuff on there. We're doing good. It's doing good. So check that out. Get into that. There's a lot of good articles out there for pretty much all sports, not just basketball. So if you're into NFL, doing fantasy coverage, soccer's on there, hockey's on there, whichever you like. It's a good website to look for content. Make sure you do that. I guess until next time, right, Garrett?
Yeah.
All right. Till next time, guys. Thank you all for watching, and till next week or whenever.
Whenever, yeah.
Whenever. Whenever's a better time. But yes, till whenever.